Hey guys, I figured out what I want to do for my 600 sub giveaway. What I'd like to do is I'd like for you to comment 600 sub giveaway. So it's going to be 600 sub GAW. I'll put what I want you to comment on the description in this video. And I'll put the link to the other video in the description too. So it should be easy to find for you. But yeah, don't comment anything else on it, or at least in that comment. So when it's just easy for me to scroll down through the comments and I can see exactly who's commented that, and then nobody's comment get lost, and you're all entered then. So that's the point. We want to get as much people ready for this giveaway as possible. So I also wanted to add, there's going to be a couple extra giveaways with it. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to show you. But just know that there's a couple extra. We're not just going to have one winner. I haven't figured out how many winners we're going to have yet. But I can tell you there's going to be more than 1, 2, 3. I don't know yet. All right. Well, let's get to the video. All right. Well, I got a new burner. It's not going to stay there permanently. Well, it's a little bigger than I expected it to be, but it was $1. And it has 2 burners, so I figure if one goes bad, I switch to the other one, or vice versa, or 3 different deals all at once. So anyways, we're not focusing on that. We're not focusing on that. You'll see, well, you probably will have seen that video already. You won't see this video, I don't think. This one's going to be first. Anyways, this is our contacts. So what we're going to go ahead and do is refine them. And we're just going to put them in nitric. So let's see here. We're going to start with, I'm going to measure it out in here, my other beaker. And this is a 200. So we're going to put 400 milliliters of distilled, and we're going to go 200 milliliters of nitric. Actually, let's go with 150 off the bat. See where that gets us. And we've got plenty of beaker, so don't have to worry about that up over there. And let's get a top on that bad boy. And here we go with heat. I'm going to start it off at low because this is the first go around and I don't know how hot this stuff's going to get. Alright, let's let that eat. Man, it's been an awesome weekend for refining. I've been getting a lot done. This second burner works great. It brings all my my temperatures up to where I need to when it's at low. So I like it. All right. Anyways, back to these contacts here. Get these off of there. So this was 150 milliliters of nitric. We still have quite a bit of contacts down there, and they're silver still. Let's see here if I can do this nice and easy. So those are still solid silver. They're not tungsten. Tungsten, they'd be much darker. So yeah, tons of it left. So we're gonna do that again. Except I think I'm gonna put more in. So we're gonna go ahead and go, there we go, another couple hundred. And instead of 150, I think we are gonna go 200 milliliters of nitric.
I'm really excited to cement this out. All right, and 200 going in. I'm almost done with that 2.5. Should have pretty good reaction. I think I'm actually going to put a little more water in there. There we go. Let's throw that back up on the heat. Throw our top on. There we go. We'll let that nitric heat for a while. And yeah, got a little over 1,000 milliliters of solution. 350 milliliters of nitric, and the rest is distilled water. Well, plus some of the weight from the contact, which I can't imagine takes up that much space. So sweet. Let's let that eat. There's that 200 milliliters of nitric working really hard. Man, if I had one more corning dish, I could really start making some material move. This is awesome. It's starting to come together. I got more room to keep up with this stuff, because I'm actually getting sent quite a bit of material now, so I got to be able to keep the videos coming out as fast as you guys are sending the material. And the icing on the cake, that just ties it all together. I got to get this situated so it doesn't look like, you know, little better on the eyes anyway. But man, I'm getting excited. All right, so this reaction is I can't tell if we're boiling or if it's bubbling still. I mean, we still got fumes going on, so I imagine there's still a little bit of a reaction going on. Let me get my goggles and my gloves on, and we'll grab it and see what we got left at the bottom. All right. That's heavy. Let's see here. Let me grab this so I don't spill the top of this guy. Ooh, we're getting down to the end. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but there is not much left. We got maybe a couple little guys. That's all tin there at the bottom. So it's not going to need much more. Let's see. We'll go ahead and put, I got, I think, 10 left here. Yeah, we'll go throw that in there. That should eat the rest of that up, or pretty close. Enough for us to start filtering anyway. Alright, well, we'll let that continue to do its thing. We may leave a little bit left in there, just so that we know we don't have any leftover nitric. And then what we'll do is start the filtration process. Alright, let's take a look at this here. I think we're onto something. Might be a perfect time to let this finish. See here. Oh yeah, very little left. Perfect time. We'll let this settle, and then we'll go ahead and filter this out in the morning. There's going to be very little contacts left, so they might even be gone by the morning, because we still have a very little amount of fumes. Alright, this is cooled down here. It's going to take a little longer to filter, only because of how saturated it is. I don't have a big enough flask to dilute this and then filter it. I probably should start thinking about getting 200 or 300s, but we'll see. I have another 100 or 1,000 milliliter coming along here, but we'll start with this. So I'm going to try and get as much. There we go. We're going to go like that. There's a bunch of tin in the bottom that I've got to filter out. You can see it. So this solution is going to filter out really fast, and then I'll store that in another beaker. And then we'll go ahead and we'll have to filter this out a couple of times to get the tin out. But I'll at least be able to put the rest of this in my flask. All right, nice clean beaker. That didn't take very long for that to filter. It was pretty clean from letting it settle overnight. I wasn't too worried about that. Go ahead and dump that into the clean beaker. And we can start working on the rest of this stuff. Get that up and out of the way. Let me plug my vacuum back in. There we go. And let's see how cloudy this is going to be the first go around. It's definitely going to need a couple. There's no question about that. I'm going to fill this up. Alright. So it looks like we have just a couple of contacts left, which is okay. That means we know we've got all of the nitric utilized. Alright, clean my flask up too, or my beaker I should say. So we are ready to roll when we are ready to switch this over. I know it's definitely cloudy. Like I said, it's going to need a couple of filterings. The tin is pretty thin, so probably could have used hydrochloric, but what are you going to do? We'll get it filtered out. Alright, filter number 2. We'll probably need one more. I'll cue in after all this. I'm not going to make you watch it all. Alright. Let's dilute this bad boy. 2,000. Go ahead and put a nice copper bar in there. Alright, we'll let that cement out. It's probably going to take a little while. We should have a pretty good chunk of silver coming out. Alright, so this has been going for a little while now. And so this is a 3,000 milliliter beaker. And you can see we've got a good chunk of cement silver to deal with. We're definitely going to have to stir this up a couple of times just to make sure that we're not trapping any silver nitrate underneath all this fun stuff here. And yeah, so we'll do that here in a little bit. I'll make sure it's still got plenty of reactivity. You can see it's bubbling, and that's not nitric. That's just happening from the transfer of metals. You know, one copper going into solution and silver coming out of solution. All right. We're getting a really nice chunk of silver cement on the bottom here. It's really starting to look good. It's exactly what we're looking for anyway. It's probably a good time to stir this up. It's getting pretty dark and we're getting a really good layer on the bottom. There we go. It's going to be a pretty good yield. That's a lot of silver. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, this is going to take quite a bit of rinses. I'm just going to go ahead and rinse this off. And then when we get to a good place, I will take you back into footage here when this is nice and clear. And then we'll do a nice hydrochloric boil, and then we'll do more rinses. So we're going to try to get the majority of the copper nitrate out of there before we go into hydrochloric, and then we'll rinse the hydrochloric really thoroughly so that we don't the solution is coming off crystal clear, and we should be good. We should have really nice clean silver. So I'm looking forward to it because this is a huge chunk of silver. I'm really excited to see what we get out of that. Alright, so just got my new flask in. So I've got 3 of them now. Well, I have 3 of them with the vacuum port on them. It's actually kind of nice. I would prefer a bigger one though. But man, the one I saw was like close to $100 for 3. I'm like a 3,000 milliliter one. I'm like, I might have to hold off on that guy. I don't think I do enough big stuff yet to justify that. Alright, well, I'm going to change this up. I thought I was losing too much silver into the dump bucket. So we're going to do this a different way. We're going to go ahead and filter all this stuff out. Hopefully we can do this little bits at a time. And then I'll collect all of the silver in my Buckner funnel where I'll rinse it off that way. I don't want to cheat anybody out of my silver, and once I saw that, I kept losing it. Like, nah, we're done with that way. So we're just gonna go ahead and put it all in there, stir it up, rinse it off, and then go for the hydrochloric. Look at it all though. Man, is that not beautiful or what? So I got 2 filters in there just so I don't shred the top layer. And that's how I'm going to rinse it. Fill the Buckner funnel up with a little bit of water, distilled water. Give this a good swirl, and then keep an eye on our water coming down. See how it's still a little blue? I'm going to try to get that pretty close to white, or clear, I should say. And then we're going to go into hydrochloric. See if we can't get any copper to come out of solution with a good boil. If there is any in solution. I didn't disturb the copper bar coming out. because I didn't want any flakes of copper to come off into the cement. So it should be relatively clean. I can't say 3/9's fine just because it's not going through a cell or anything, but you should have nice clean copper. And if you would like, you can go ahead and try running your own SilverStoll to make 3/9's fine. And if you do, record it and send me the stuff so we could show other people. That'd be awesome. Alright, so that solution is fairly light. There's still a tint of blue to it, but I think we've gotten it far enough where we can run hydrochloric through it. And then, of course, after we get the hydrochloric ran and the hydrochloric boils, we will make sure that this is crystal clear coming out, and maybe even do an acid test. Oh, there goes the stir rod. I need to get more. Another one bites the dust. Alright, new plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this up. I'm going to dry it off. I'm going to evaporate the moisture off of it, and then I'm going to weigh it. We'll separate it into quarters, and then what I'll do is I will only wash your the quarter that you're going to get, and that will eliminate the waste, because we are getting a little bit that comes through the filter here. So I think that's going to give you the best bang for your buck. It's so much easier to rinse and deal with a smaller amount, and I think we've got quite a bit of silver in there, so I'm really happy with that. All right, well, let's get into that process. Let me get my gloves on here. All right, we're gonna have to I think what I'm gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and pull that. I'm going to lift just that, and that's going in. There it goes. Alright, grab my... I'm going to add a little bit of water. But we got to make sure we get all of that off of there for you. Well, as much silver as we can anyway. And then now we got to go fishing for the filter. That is a chunk. See, I'm really happy about the SilverStoll. I highly recommend, if you're going to do this, to run a SilverStoll. You're going to save yourself a ton of heartache trying to rinse and clean and all that fun stuff on this stuff. It's fairly time consuming to rinse. There's a whole bunch of waste that's produced, and unless you let it settle and settle and settle for hours, and then decant and then rinse and then let it settle for hours and hours and hours, it just it's not feasible for bigger chunks. And that's not even a lot. I'm sure some of you guys deal with way more than that, you know. That's where the SilverStoll's nice, is you could do a couple rinses like that, get the majority of the copper off, and then feed it in the cell, call it a day. That'll take care of itself. You may have to make, you may have to make a little more electrolyte here and there, but you can always pull the silver out of the old electrolyte and I will figure out how to pull the nitric back out of this stuff. I really want to do that. I think that would be a really cool project. One of these days, we'll figure it out. But until that time, we're gonna have to use the nitric we got. I still got 2.5 liter buckets. But let's let this heat up, evaporate out, dry up. We can get a weight on it. We'll quarter it out and start the rinsing process. All right, so I got all of the silver dried out. Let's see what we got for a weight. Make sure we zero this out. All right. $240. There's a little bit left in here. Let me, I'm going to clean this out quick. All right, here's the last little bit. Nothing crazy. Are we going to go 241? I don't think so. I don't think so. 240. Well, that makes that easy for splitting a quarter of that. All right, so here's the cement silver. I need to clean it up yet. I didn't want to lose any more. Let me put this back over here. I didn't want to lose any more, so it might not be exactly a quarter of that, depending on what we pick up with the hydrochloric boils and all that fun stuff. So it should be pretty close, though. Well, there it is. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.